Has been reported that the Knicks are going to sign Kemba Walker. So who better to have on the show than Kemba Walker's former high school coach at Rice High School, Mo Hicks. Coach, how you been? What have you been up to lately?
Oh, everything's been great. Just living the dream, man. Just out here, working. I'm out over at Riverbank State Park, helping out over there as the park director and watching a lot of basketball. That's what I've been doing lately.
All right, that's not too shabby. That's not too shabby at all. Let's talk a little bit about what your reaction was. What was your reaction when you heard that it was likely that Kemba Walker could be signing with the Knicks?
Oh, I mean, it was ecstatic. I got a lot of phone calls, a lot of people calling, texting, excited. A lot of his ex-players, a lot of the coaches that was on staff, a lot of the teachers. So, texting and getting a lot of calls. So it's going to be an exciting time. Everybody's looking forward to it, and everybody's excited. So, we're ready to go. Hopefully this thing will work out, and he'll be in a Knick uniform. And it's going to be a beautiful thing to see.
Coach Hicks, I was in high school when Kemba Walker and yourself was tearing up the CHSAA and everywhere in New York City at Rice High School. I mean, talk to me a little bit about what you saw in Kemba as a young athlete. I read a quote that said, if Kemba never picked up a basketball, he'd still be the most popular kid in Rice High School. Talk to me a little bit about that as somebody who's seen it firsthand.
Yeah, no question, no question. I mean, he was always a humble kid. A lot of the teachers in the school never knew he played basketball, and when they came out to see the games, they were astonished. They didn't know because he was so humble. He never had that type of carried that swag of being a good player, great student, great kid, and the basketball is just a plus. It just added to his character and made him even more popular.
You mentioned that humble approach. How do you think that translates at this level, and how do you see him fitting in with Coach Thibodeau and the Knicks?
Oh, I think he'll be great. I mean, he's a defensive guy. In high school, we laid our hat on defense all the time. That's what we preached all the time. Uh, I think he would fit great in that system. He's a hardworking kid. Always up for the challenge. He's coachable. He's likable. He's going to be a great teammate. He has all the intangibles to make that team a lot better.
Coach Hicks, you talk to anybody about Kemba Walker, especially since he's become a professional, and the first thing people talk about is his leadership and his work ethic. Would you like to share any maybe stories about him in high school where you saw that leadership in action?
Yeah, I mean, it was daily. It was daily. It was in practice. It was during games. It was on and off the court. The leadership off the court, I thought was a lot. It was just great for us to have him in our program. He always led by example. He was in school early. He was always on time. He was in practice early. He worked hard. He had a lot of good guys that played in front of him, like Edgar Sosa's and those guys that he could learn from. And he did a good job. When it was time for him to take over the leadership role, he was ready and did a great job in preparing the team and just being a leader. And it's hard really to lead like that at a young age, and he showed a lot of it early on.
He led UConn to a national championship in 2011. What was the recruiting process like for him in his senior year? I'm sure you were fielding calls from coaches. Do you remember what it was like to go through that and what advice you had for him before he embarked on that college career?
Well, he was going through the rites of passage. I thought it was great. He had a lot of schools on him. He sort of knew what he wanted to do. It was North Carolina there. They were there somewhat. UConn came in, and it was local, and they did such a tremendous job recruiting him. And I remember just when him coming back from that visit saying that that's where he wanted to go to school. And he never looked back after that. He was happy making that choice. And it turned out to be great for him. Look at him. They won a national championship. And he was the star of the team.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get no better than that.
Now, Coach, when we get free agents coming to New York City, we feel like we ask them the same question, right? How do you adjust to the pressure of playing in New York City? But it's different from Kemba. He's from here. He was born around here. Like he's from the ilk. He's one of our own. And he's a point guard for a team that's been starving for a point guard like him his entire career. It's a little bit of different pressure being from New York City. How do you think he responds to it?
I think he'll do just fine. I think just what I said before. He's a humble guy. He's a professional. He's going to go out every day. He's going to give his all. And he knows what's coming toward him. He knows that there's going to be pressures there, media pressures, and just pressures from just being home. But if anybody can handle it, he could. I mean, he's one of those kids that he's very humble. He's going to come out every day. He's going to do his best, and that's all. And that's all we can ask for. He's going to go out every day. He's going to compete. He's gonna definitely be a great teammate, like I said. And I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great for the city. It's going to be great for the communities in the city just to have him home, right? To be able to be out to get out in the public and really get the kids to see him and be hands-on with a lot of the kids in the area, because he's going to be a positive role model, all the way around, as he's always been.